I said in August of last year,
Nussmeier, to me, if the NFL draft was tomorrow, Nussmeier would be the top quarterback taken.
Some people hopped off the Nuss bus. I kept my seat because when you look at the box score, it's clear. Garrett Nussmeier is still a great quarterback. He was just dealt a hand that would have had most quarterbacks leave the table, but he hung in. Now, I'm not saying teams should take him over Fernando. If you give Fernando his supporting cast, Fernando's not the #1 overall pick. He might be injured as well. But hey, we'll get to that. But what I am saying is that Garrett Nussmeier can be one of the 32 best quarterbacks on the planet at some point in his playing career. He has the skill set to turn a franchise around. Don't believe me? Believe the tape. In 2024, he had 26 big-time throws. Those are throws PFF deems high difficulty and high value, usually deep downfield. Only 4 Power 4 quarterbacks were better. But in 2025, the numbers dropped drastically. He threw for just 214 yards per game after putting up 311 yards per game in 2024. What happened? Well, one, we found out that Nussmeier was playing through an abdominal injury since the second day of fall camp. For a dude that relies on torque and touch, that's not good for his game. And then 2, this is a big point for me. The pressure and responsibility on Nussmeier was unique. Only Ty Simpson can relate. When you were lining up to play LSU, the only thing you had to worry about was the passing game. Garrett Nussmeier is right on. That wasn't the case with Indiana. Indiana, you had to worry about their secondary, their run game, their offensive line, their physical receivers. When you're lining up scout team to prepare for Indiana, the #1 pick in the NFL draft is not necessarily your biggest concern. That was not the scenario for Garrett Nussmeier and LSU. Stripping it down to the most basic level from a quarterback's perspective, when you turn on the film, Garrett Nussmeier had to consistently throw against 2 high safety looks. There's an extra dude in coverage. Compared to Fernando Mendoza, had a lot of 1 high safety looks. That's 1 less dude in coverage because he's rolled up into the box because you're worried about Indiana's run game. I know I'm running the risk about oversimplifying a point, but you get what I mean. I'm having deja vu in my mind about a point I made when Justin Herbert was going into the draft, saying that the average difficulty of his completion at Oregon his last year was more difficult than the other quarterbacks. The argument I made for him was he didn't have great receivers. So when he was asked to throw the comeback route to the outside, he had to paint it on his receivers. That became his norm. So the jump to the NFL, I would argue, was not as extreme. Versus other quarterbacks in the draft, they might be used to having elite receivers that have that extra 2 or 3 yards of separation. So your average completion is not as difficult. That same thread applies for Garrett Nussmeier and Ty Simpson. And that poor supporting cast by LSU changed how Nussmeier was used. In the 2025 season, they turned a guy that was known to be a vertical threat into a screen machine. He was one of only 12 Power 4 starting quarterbacks that was asked to throw a screen on 20% of his dropbacks. His average depth of target was only 7 yards. Why did this happen? You were worried about him getting consistently hit. You don't ask your pro caliber quarterback to throw 7-yard passing attempts if you're not worried about his body. In addition to that, the offense around him wasn't giving him much help. They ranked 60th out of 68 Power 4 teams in terms of supporting cast, 63rd in total drops, and 62nd in explosive runs. Nussmeier wasn't the engine of the offense. He was the offense.
When he's healthy, he's a gifted quarterback. The processing is here, and when he backs it up with the arm, it's special. We're taking it back to 2024. I got a few clips from the South Carolina game. Great examples of when Garrett Nussmeier is at his best. Here, he's going to hit a slot fade by this guy right here. Absolute dime. He's got a hitch, over route, dig, back coming into the flat. Right away, he knows versus a single high safety, this is the matchup he's going to in the slot. 2 things I want you to pay attention to. Look how early he decides to throw this football, and look at him get hit. He still hangs in the pocket. Ball snapped. He has decided to pull the trigger there. He's also getting hit because his left tackle gets blown up. Ironically, we know that dude. He's Drake May's blind side right now. Just played in the Super Bowl. But anyways, check this out. This ball's thrown right here. This DB's in excellent position. Ends up being a dime. Phenomenal throw and catch by Garrett Nussmeier. Second one, also in this South Carolina game. Love this because I can see his brain processing, which we'll get into as well. He's going to hit this slot receiver on a little seam route. This is technically an alert in my book. You're only throwing this route right here versus this exact defensive look. 2 high safeties. They're splitting the field, which leaves the middle wide open. You got a dig route here. You got a level route on the top of the screen. Again, I love this throw for the same exact reasons. Look how early he decides to throw this football. Look at him take this hit, and it's on his left knee, which makes the hairs in the back of my spine still stand up. Recipe for a torn ACL. But Garrett Nussmeier, he don't care. He's going to hang in there and deliver the rock. And again, love the processing too. He's saying, all right, this is the look I want. 1, 2, 3 ball. In between 4 defenders. Excellent throw. I got the back view too to make your guys' spine shiver as well. Look at his left knee. Sorry about it, but it's a hell of a quarterback throw. That's gutsy. He's used to getting hit, which is why he got injured, but it's also a testament to his toughness. And then lastly, this is the type of throw that when you're sitting on your couch, it looks easy and it's like, oh, of course he'd make that throw. When you watch the film, you realize how much more difficult it actually is. South Carolina's bringing the house. All these dudes are coming. Pause. You got this safety coming as well. Pause. Sorry. But Garrett Nussmeier's like, all right, bring it on. Pause. He's got a little glance route or like a deep slant. It's not a full post. We'll call it a post. It's a post. This is an inside leverage safety. Garrett Nussmeier knows he's going to get hit, knows this is where the vacated zone, and more importantly, he trusts his receiver to win. And again, he throws this ball extremely early. A lot of quarterbacks, even NFL caliber quarterbacks, are getting hit. They're scrambling. No. Third and whatever it was, 7-8, Garrett Nussmeier is getting rid of the ball and picking up the first down. He's also willing to step up in the pocket and make defenders miss. And this play, I've probably broken down 3 times across all the YouTube videos I've done on both Vanderbilt and LSU. This to me was the most impressive footwork clip that I saw of Garrett Nussmeier this past season. Not only because of the play itself, but because of the stakes. I believe LSU's down 10 in this game. It's third quarter. It's 3rd and 6. Offensive line's getting eaten up by Clark Lee's squad. But Garrett Nussmeier finds a way to make a play. Look at his footwork in the pocket here. Tries to go to the right, not there, scrambles around, finds a way to get the ball out of his hands. Doesn't look like anything special, 4-yard gain, but when you allow your guys to make plays in space, it's a 60-yard house call. LSU's back in this game. This was a big reason why I remember tweeting it out of people were getting on Garrett Nussmeier for this game. This is the type of play that looks like, oh, the receiver made a hell of a play. No, this is the quarterback making a hell of a play. The right tackle gets absolutely dominated right from the jump. Garrett Nussmeier's looking to operate the football that way. Doesn't work, flushes out, finds a way to get the ball out of his hands. Dude makes a play. Garrett Nussmeier is not going to be Lamar Jackson with his legs, but he's fluid in the pocket. He has strong footwork in the pocket. Real quick, if you're enjoying this video, do me a solid and hit the like and subscribe button down below. Don't miss any football content. And send this video to an NFL fan that you think should watch it. Enjoy the rest of the vid. From a footwork only perspective, not mobility perspective, just from a sound footwork fundamentals, I would take Garrett Nussmeier over Fernando Mendoza. In terms of the hierarchy of quarterback characteristics, footwork is not a premier element. You know, I'm taking leadership, I'm taking timing, I'm taking arm strength, I'm taking clutch, I'm taking grittiness, probably before footwork. But it's a factor that's important enough that I gotta highlight. And to me, I like his footwork even more because of how much he got hit. Yeah, later on this season, he had a tendency to start throwing a little bit off his back foot, but big picture, I feel like he hung in there well. I disagree though with the folks that are questioning his arm talent. The guy can fit the rock into tight windows. He's got an excellent sense for touch and layering the football and then also timing. And so yes, he might not have a rocket for an arm, but his baseline understanding of timing and layering the football overcomes any concerns that I'd have with that. Few examples right here. This is one of his best throws in the game versus Alabama. He's got an over route coming left to right. He's got a vertical route on the bottom of the screen. And look at him fit this football behind both these linebackers, but before this corner can come and knock his receiver's head off. Also, NFL-wise, love that he's under center and operating the offense that way. Again, this is the type of throw when you're sitting on your couch, it's like, oh, this is easy. This is how it should be played. Yeah, well, not every college quarterback, not every draft caliber quarterback, you're seeing this from them. Believe I had the back view here as well. Yep, under center, play action, ball's out early. He makes this look easy because of his touch and timing. If that's a half second later, his receiver's getting killed. This right here to me was my favorite Garrett Nussmeier throw of the season. This is against Vanderbilt. Again, we're going back to the Vandy film. Here he's got a 10-yard out to the sideline. He's on the right hash here. He throws this with a defensive end up in his face, off his back foot, and this is a big league throw. You got a little control route on the by the outside receiver. You have a little vertical route by the seam here. Again, look at this defensive end up in his grill, and look at the trust that he throws this football with. I watched the telecast. They were like, oh, yep, excellent throw, Garrett Nussmeier. This is a tough throw. That ball's in the air for a long time, not because of arm strength-wise, because he didn't have the luxury of being able to step into it. You're seeing the back view here. Look at this. He knows where he's going with the ball. 1, 2, 3, baby hitch. Someone in his grill. That's an excellent throw. Here again, going back to the Vandy film, got a curl route here. This is phenomenal coverage by Vandy. Again, Nussmeier, left hash. This is a wide side of the field throw, but he's going to paint it in the 1 square foot box that this ball can go to for this to ultimately be a completion. He's going to paint it on his receiver's left shoulder pad. Defender, this is excellent coverage. Look how early he gets that ball out. I think I have the back view as well. No hesitation. He's trusting that his guy is going to get open. He is pulling the trigger. This receiver is not technically open, but the ball throws him open. Excellent catch as well, trusting his guys to make a play. And then last point, just to drive home the arm strength point as well, he's going to roll out to his right. This is something that I don't hear a lot of people talk about, but especially when you're a pocket passer, how fluid are you at throwing the ball on the run? That to me speaks to your arm strength. I was a pocket passer. I wouldn't say I was fluid at throwing the ball on the run. I had a little bit of a hitch and a hop to my release when I was throwing on the run. It still got there. It still was fine, but it wasn't fluid. Garrett Nussmeier, for being a pocket quarterback, very fluid on the run. Look at, he's going to throw a deep out, on rhythm, accurate, arm strength. That's all the arm strength that I need. Again, the backfield, look at it. Look at how the back end velocity on that football. Right in his face mask, good to go. His biggest sell for NFL scouts, though, it's what I referenced earlier, his pre-snap IQ and his mental processing along with it. You can tell this dude understands coverage and when to get the ball out of his hands. When I was going through the film, this is a great example, especially through an NFL lens, right? NFL under center, more pro-style concepts. Right here versus Alabama, you got guys walked up tough. Linebackers tight towards the A gap in front of the guard in the center. Garrett Nussmeier saying, man, there's a lot going on up front here. Let me get up there and tell my offensive line to just do a slide protection. That means they're just going to slide one direction. Don't worry about picking up a specific defender. Let's just all move in a big wave in unison towards the right. The reason he doesn't care so much about the protection, or that it doesn't need to be perfect, is because he knows when he looks at the defense, he's got a 1 high safety here. Looks like a cover 3 look. And you know what? It's a great concept versus cover 3. A nice deep curl here. This may have been 3rd down too. No, it's 2nd and long. But we love curl flat versus a cover 3 single high safety. So Nussmeier saying, man, let me just get my protection all clean. Alabama, I don't know what you're doing up front, but let me just give a little play action and get back to my curl route, which I love versus this defensive look. Don't reinvent the wheel. But he's getting his guys lined up. He's processing. The ball's getting out of his hands quickly. Also nice footwork. Makes that look easy, throwing it behind a linebacker in front of that corner. Look at the operation, right? Getting the protection right, getting his boys lined up. Play fake. All right, get the linebackers to come up just a little bit. Nice footwork in the pocket. Ball out of his hands. Finding the window in that cover 3 with the curl route getting in there. Garrett Nussmeier is an NFL starting quarterback. When the dude is healthy, he checks every box that an NFL OC wants. And one thing I didn't even mention is the leadership. He earned the legendary number 18 and wore that for LSU last year. And if an NFL team looks at the 2025 film and sees a regression, they're going to be missing out. And I think right now there's a few NFL offensive coordinators that are saying, you know what, man, if this Nussmeier guy slides, I'm going to gladly swoop him up. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want anyone else on my scent, but there is a lot of good film on this dude. If these teams look at the 2024 tape and realize that he played through 2025 battling injuries to help his squad, they're gonna see a franchise quarterback with the toughness to match his talent. I've been a believer all year long, and if this video didn't make you a believer, I don't blame you. I'm kind of in the minority, but let time do its thing. Let's see him this preseason when there's real life bullets, and he's the type of guy that'll keep hanging around the NFL. And we'll come back to this video and be like, yo, that was a diamond in the rough.